Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 242 based on novel. So let's start. The location of Icefire Island is quite mysterious, and every time it appears at the entrance, it will be wrapped by the two attributes of ice and fire. This type of ice and fire attribute is extremely special, and ordinary powerhouses cannot withstand the extreme terrifying fluctuations, and they will be exploded in an instant. He died, so he needed something else to defend against this power of ice and fire. Ice and fire grass. This is a rather special plant that grows in some gloomy and humid places. If you find the entrance to the Icefire Island, you only need to refine the icefire grass, and it will instantly form a mysterious shackle on its body. The power was weakened a lot, thus greatly weakening the pressure of ice and fire when entering. Strange, how did the aura of the Sin Guard become weaker? Not far from Xiao village, in a hidden forest, a figure wearing a black robe with sin painted on it raised his head and said, "Look in the direction of Xiao village. He is here at this time, and he has set up a teleportation formation. After all, they are notorious for their sin. Whether they get the undead leaves or not, they must leave here immediately, otherwise they will be discovered by the great powers in Dongju. I am afraid that we'll use this to press their higher level traces. Forget it, the teleportation formation is almost ready." The next moment, the crime guard slowly shook his head and buried himself in the forest to continue his arrangement. After a while, an inexplicable and powerful aura spread out from the direction of Xiao village. This breath is quite small, and it seems to spread in a certain pattern, which is difficult for ordinary people to detect. Is this information from the Flower Sin Guard? This information is. Have you found the undead leaves? The criminal guard couldn't help laughing when he heard this. Among them, the guards are also clearly divided into strength levels. Most of the guards are 1-star Dozyan or even lower, and their current strength of 2-star Dozyan can be attributed to him if he can find the undead leaves. Then it is very likely that oneself will be bestowed with evil power, and then not only will the status rise, but even the strength will increase straight like flying on a plane. Who a Sin Guard, if you want to blame it, you are too weak, but it is your honor to be my stepping stone. The Sin Guard smiled slowly, and then instantly wiped out the mysterious transmission of breath, and his figure moved towards Xiao village. Will that guy fall for the trick? If that 3-star fighting immortal guy is attracted, I'm afraid Yu Xiaoya on the side opened his mouth slightly, obviously not targeting Xiao Yang, but became extremely nervous because it was the first time to play this kind of hide-and-seek game. Yu Xiaoya is quite favored in the Yu family, so she has a temperament of the eldest lady, and even every training, the family members breathe and hide their strength, which makes Yu Xiaoya overestimate herself, but this is the first time she is facing this situation. When the crisis of life and death, Yu Xiaoya seemed a little scared. Don't worry, I'll be fine. If it is that guy, I have the confidence to take everyone away. Xiao Yang's soul power slowly spread out, and then everyone quieted down, quietly looking at the unconscious guards in the altar. As for Xiao Yang himself, there was a trace of it. The deeply hidden inscriptions of the core of natal life appeared, quietly pervading around the altar. At this time, they were located outside the outermost wooden house of the altar. They were wrapped by Xiao Yang's huge soul power, and they subtly merged with the surrounding colors. And the unconscious guard was sleeping in the center of the altar, but in front of him, a rather delicate leaf was beating slowly, but his person contained this frightening fluctuation. This thing is naturally an illusion condensed by Xiao Yang's expensive soul power, in order to deceive people. For a minute, there was no trace of anyone, only the sound of the wind blowing. 5 minutes later, there was still no one there. It's not the signal I sent, is it? But according to this guy's memory, the fluctuations in the transmission of information are clearly correct. Xiao Yang also said helplessly. However, Xiao Yang was not feeling well at this time. It took a lot of soul power just to maintain the illusion of the immortal leaves, not to mention that he had to cast the soul power on the 4 people to hide their figures. 5 more minutes. If he doesn't show up again, I'm afraid I can only withdraw first. Xiao Yang said helplessly. Someone's here. Just as Xiao Yang's thoughts fell, the void outside the altar suddenly wriggled slightly, and an extremely dark evil aura slowly emerged, which instantly turned into a human figure. This figure is exactly the same as the criminal guard in a coma, with a rough figure, wrapped in black robes, with a red coat sin on the back, but the breath, compared to the unconscious criminal guard, is undoubtedly much more powerful. Susu, who a Sin Guard, I never thought you would have today. The Sin Guard of the late 2-star Dozyan had just appeared, and there was a hint of sneer on his face under the black robe. It seems that this undead leaf has no relationship with you, so it's really cheap for me. Seeing this, the guilty guard of the late two-star Xiao Yan slowly burst into a rather crazy wave. Looking at the appearance, he wanted to swallow it. Do it. At this moment, Xiao Yang said directly, and then everyone suddenly shot. Absolutely can't let the late two-star Xian guards swallow the late one-star Xian guards, otherwise, once the strength skyrockets, they will definitely not be able to handle it. Xiao Yang's voice just fell, and the altar, which was originally a clear sky, was suddenly completely enveloped by an unknown mysterious force. Even the criminal guard who was as strong as the late two-star Xian felt an invisible sense. Pressure. Eat me. Waterfall. Shui Yu didn't hesitate, her figure swept away suddenly, and a huge energy water column with a size of dozens of meters permeated instantly from the palm of her hand. Sure enough, there is an tilde, but this power is irrelevant to me. The Sin guard in the late two-star Xian seemed to have expected this situation long ago. Without any surprise, facing Shui Yu, the tyrannical energy water column also clapped his hands gently, and suddenly the energy hand beads of Shui Yu disintegrated out of thin air. Space system? And Xiao Yang took the lead in displaying the formation. At this time, everyone was in his own formation. Naturally, he discovered the scene of the Sin guard in the later stage of the two-star fighting immortal. 1 2 3 4. 3 1-star fighting immortals, 1 2-star fighting immortal in the early stage. Does Yu Feng look down on me like that? The sinner cast a casual glance, then shook his head in disappointment. As soon as the voice of the guilty guard in the later stage of the two-star Xian fell, a dazzling evil force burst out from his body, and immediately shot away at the crowd. Where did Yu Xiaoye suffer from such a terrifying scene, just when she felt the evil power that was extremely evil and could instantly obliterate her own evil power? Her legs softened and she fell directly on the ground of the formation. Damn. It's too late. Shui Yu and Liu Qing looked at each other and said helplessly. The distance between the two could not keep up with saving Yu Xiaoye, but the speed soared and they rescued her. Be careful. Seeing this, Xiao Yang didn't have time to send the core inscription to maintain the strength of the formation, and the figure flew away suddenly, and the power of fighting immortals, which was covered in fire attribute, suddenly burned on the body, trying to use the evil power. When attacking Yu Xiaoye, stop it. Golem. The dazzling evil power was extremely dark, like a burst of demons that devoured people, shooting directly at the 4 people. Shui Yu and Liu Qing naturally dealt with it easily, but when they wanted to save Yu Xiaoye, it was too late. The evil power that attacked Xiao Yang was destroyed by the power of fighting immortals on Xiao Yang, but other than that, Yu Xiaoye was so frightened that she slumped on the ground. Do heroes save beauty? It's not that easy. When the two-star Xian late-stage guard saw this, he smiled slowly, and then the evil force that attacked Yu Xiaoye increased in speed by a large margin, and instantly escaped. In front of Xiao Yang. Damn, it's too late. When Xiao Yang saw this, his expression was secretly startled. Die. Seeing this, the crime guard in the late stage of the two-star Xian slowly smiled, as if he had already seen the picture of Yu Xiaoye's delicate body being pierced by the power of evil. Boom boom boom. But at this critical moment, Yu Xiaoye just felt that her delicate body seemed to be smashed away viciously by someone, and flew backwards directly. Oh! When they noticed this scene, the late two-star Doshin guard couldn't help but glance at Xiao Yang a few more times. Quite apprehensive. Destroy it to me. Xiao Yang instantly knocked Yu Xiaoye's figure away, and then the dazzling evil aura directly attacked Xiao Yang. Although it was a close call, Xiao Yang's dazzling fire attribute power of fighting immortals radiated directly wiping out that evil power. Shui Yu, give me 3 minutes. Seeing that the crisis had been resolved, Xiao Yang immediately sat cross-legged and said something to Shui Yu. At this time, Xiao Yang needs to urge the core inscription of his life to condense the formation pattern, and then inject it into the formation, so as to maintain the power of the formation, otherwise the formation at this time is just a prototype, which is a sin for the late two-star fighting immortal. Wei poses no threat. Leave it to us. Shui Yu and Liu Qing nodded slightly when they heard the words, and then attacked the crime guard. I. Yu Xiaoye, who was beside him, was obviously at a loss, and sat on the spot dumbfounded. Who, the core inscription of life? Give it to me. I want to see how much the formation pattern can condense this time. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, the dazzling soul force went directly to the Nigong WN in the body, and a trace of the core inscription was directly condensed out by it, and then injected into it. In the array, with the continuous injection of formation patterns by Xiao Yang, the pressure in this formation was suddenly increasing at a terrifying speed. It's just a group of ants. Since you want to play, let's play with you. Seeing this, the guard of the late 2-star Xiao Yan snorted slightly. Heavenly water column. At the next moment, Xiao Yu directly broke out a very tyrannical attack. Above the arm, a huge water column about 100 feet in size suddenly appeared. Above the water column, a rather soft, but extremely destructive force. The terrifying power is slowly born. Death to me. As soon as the voice fell, Shui's arm suddenly waved, and the power of the Qianshui column burst into it, and there was a rather tyrannical shaking wherever it passed along the way. It's a good attack, but for me, it's useless. The late 2-star Dozian guard seems to be more than a little bit stronger than the late 1-star Dozian guard, facing Shuiyu so tyrannical at this time. A blow, there is still no fear. Evil demon hand. Seeing the fierce water column attacking him, the late 2-star Dozian guard didn't have any fear. Instead he called out softly, and suddenly his arm wrapped in black robe slowly lifted, and at the same time, on his arm, a vicious aura that made the pupils of Shuiyu and the others shake violently emerged silently. What an evil power! Seeing this, Liu Qing on the side couldn't help but wrinkle her beautiful eyes. Obviously, this dark and evil power gave her a rather tyrannical coercion. Ha ha ha! Break it for me! Shui's huge water column came directly in front of the late 2-star Dozian guard, and suddenly the guard's arm, which was already surrounded by evil aura, was lightly raised, and he grabbed it abruptly. The sound of dripping water slowly sounded above the altar. How could it be possible? Seeing that the late 2-star Doshian guard easily wiped out his powerful attack in an instant, Shui's heart turned out to be filled with fear. Don't be afraid, there's Xiao Yang, we have to buy him some time. As long as the formation is condensed, this guy will not be far from death. Liu Qing glanced at Xiao Yang and closed his eyes. Adding this, the formation of the altar continued to strengthen, and then said, "But this guy's strength is too strong." Shuiyu heard the words, a dignified expression appeared on her face. "Look at me." When Liu Qing heard this, a dazzling light slowly appeared on his delicate body. Light system? How is that possible? After seeing the pure white halo emerging from Liu Qing's body, the late 2-star Dozian guard suddenly raised a few decibels and lost his voice. The evil power of the evil race outside the realm belongs to the dark lineage in essence, and it is natural to be afraid of this kind of light system. Light. Hearing the guard's exclamation, Shuiyu also cast a puzzled look at Liu Qing. No one knows Liu Qing's identity, the only thing they know is Jade Legacy. And the light tilde is undoubtedly one of the few systems in the entire Dakian world. This type of system, in the Dakian world, is owned by only one power. Holy See. Within the Holy See, there are powerhouses with the light system. They believe in gods. Among them, the angel family is the most prominent. It is said that they are the forces left behind in the world like angels. They are the most devout believers of the angel family and are loyal to the angels. The sound of light listening. A light-based fighting spirit emerged from Liu Qing's body, and the next moment, Bei's lips moved slightly, and a touching voice came out slowly. Not good. As Liu Qing launched the attack, the criminal guard on the side secretly screamed no, just about to escape, but his body was involuntarily held in place. Looking down, he was actually imprisoned by two beams of light under his feet. Light. Destroy the darkness. Liu Qingbei's lips moved, and whispered some rather mysterious spells. Gulu-gulu. As soon as the voice fell, a milky white halo appeared on Liu Qing's body, with the superpower that destroyed all evil, and attacked the crime guard directly. It's too late. Seeing that the attack was irresistible, the late 2-star Dozian guard suddenly saw the guard not far from him, and immediately waved his hand, which immediately drew him in front of him. Boom boom boom. The milky white halo didn't have the slightest imposing manner, and it gently came to the late 2-star Dozian guard, and then it was like a flash in the pan, the energy was violently compressed, and it exploded in an instant. The light beam that seems to be quite small, but at this moment, the light of the world burst out. TSK TSK TSK. I didn't expect this little girl to be from the Holy See. Seeing such violent energy fluctuations in the field, the Soul Eater who was hiding in Xiao Yang's body said slowly, "The Holy See. What is that?" Xiao Yang was surprised by Liu Qing's sudden and tyrannical blow while condensing the pattern. The Holy See is quite a powerful force. Even all the powers of the 8 major races in your mouth are like playing a family in front of them. Soul Eater said. It won't be so strong, will it? Xiao Yang's heart suddenly turned dark when he heard the words. Cough, of course, this has to exclude your perverted Xiao clan. Seeing Xiao Yang's doubts, the Soul Eater explained. The power of the Holy See is indeed powerful, But how can it be compared with the Xiao clan? You must know that the Xiao clan is at the top of the world. Although this holy sea is tyrannical, compared with the real Xiao clan, it is nothing short of nothing. Do you know the resurrection magic? The Soul Eater asked. The resurrection magic that claims to be able to revive all living beings? Xiao Yang said in surprise. The angel family masters the resurrection magic, and under the angel family, there are countless vassal races, of which the Holy Sea is undoubtedly the most powerful one. The Holy Sea believes in angels. They publicize the virtues of angels in the lower realm, thereby accumulating the power of faith for the angel family, and the angels give gifts to the Holy Sea in the lower realm every once in a while. And the girl in front of me, just relying on my induction, the light energy on her body is too huge, I'm afraid her status is not low in the Holy Sea. The Lord of Soul Eater said. Forget it, let's end these things first. Xiao Yang shook his head and did not think about other things for the time being. Boom boom boom. The terrifying storm of light lasted for about 5 minutes before slowly dissipating, and the location of the original 2-star Doze Yan late-stage crime guard was forcibly bombed out in a range of more than tens of meters, a huge crater with a depth of more than tens of meters. How is the situation? Shui Yu looked at Liu Qing, who was motionless, and couldn't help but speak. He is not dead. Liu Qing shook his head slightly, his voice full of indifference. What? It's not dead. Shui Yu couldn't help being shocked when she heard this. The evil aura on the guard's body was undoubtedly restrained by the light element. Under this restraint, the gap in strength would be infinitely narrowed, and Liu Qing's attack just now was quite terrifying. There was no such terrifying attack. To obliterate the Sin Guard, I am afraid that it is more difficult to defeat the Sin Guard with just a few of them. I didn't expect to meet a little girl of the light element. In the deep pit, a voice full of hatred and evil resounded slowly. It's so despicable. Everyone in Shuiyu looked at the sound and saw that at the bottom of the deep pit, the late 2-star Doze Yan guard tightly held the corpse of the late 1-star Doze Yan who had just passed out. At this time, the corpse of the late stage of Yixing Doxian was tightly held, and even the evil power on that body collapsed in an instant under the attack of Liu Qingguang's Do Qi, and the entire body became fragmented. Wow. The late 2-star Doze Yan guard directly threw the guard who had lost all vitality at random, and then walked towards Liu Qing step by step. Seeing his fierce eyes, he was eager to give Liu Qing to him directly. Generally swallowed. Miss Liu, let's go. At this time, Shuiyu didn't have time to explain too much. She went directly to Liu Qing and opened her hands and said. Liu Qing's attack just now was powerful, but it undoubtedly consumed too much vindictive energy, causing her body to be quite weak now. You all have to die. The Sin Guards of the late 2-star Doze Yan didn't seem to intend to give them any chance to breathe. They directly exuded extremely dazzling evil power, trying to swallow everyone up. Damn, that's it. At this time, even Shuiyu felt a sense of powerlessness. Haha, after being arrogant for so long, it's time for you to taste the power of this formation. Just when Eren was overwhelmed, a burst of laughter slowly swept away. Formation? But the Sin Guard in the later stage of the 2-star Doze Yan said abruptly. Boom. As soon as the voice fell, the space surrounded by the altar suddenly became hot, and a trace of tyrannical power continued to emerge. The molten world. Not good. When Shuiyu saw this, the space in the altar instantly turned into a molten world, and she jumped up, trying to escape. Fire and water are incompatible. This is my formation, and it won't cause any harm to everyone. Sorry, I'm a little late. Xiao Yang's figure slowly came to the side of the two, and then a gentle force was transmitted directly to Liu Qing's body. Shuiyu on the side heard the words, and also stood slightly above the molten world, but found that the molten world was only hot and had nothing else. This. Feeling such a soft power, Liu Qing's complexion improved slightly, but Liu Qing also wondered, who is this Xiao Yang sacred? Leave this guy to me. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, his figure flashed and he came directly to the guard. Sister Liu, I'm sorry for causing you trouble. At this time, Yu Xiaoye also returned to normal, came to Liu Qing, and buried her head slightly. It's alright, it was the first time I encountered such a situation, and I haven't done as well as you. Ji Qing comforted. Sister Liu, Xiao Yang, can he really defeat this guy? Until now Yu Xiaoye's negative emotions towards Xiao Yang were completely resolved. I don't know, but this crime guard has consumed a lot of strength in the battle just now, so it should be okay. Liu Qing finished speaking, trying to recover his fighting spirit. Once Xiao Yang was defeated, she would take action. 27,000 patterns. Xiao Yang said slowly when he came to the guilty guard. The crime guard at this time had already consumed too much of his source power under Liu Qing's attack just now, so with the addition of the formation, Xiao Yang was confident enough to obliterate him. Next, let me take your life. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, his figure suddenly appeared like a ghost in all directions of the formation. Damn, if it wasn't for the fact that the light energy on the little girl just consumed too much source power, I'm afraid you, a boy in the early stage of starfighting immortals, could crush you to death with just one finger. A voice. Hihi, you should take care of yourself first. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, the figure suddenly appeared behind the criminal guard, and then his palm suddenly pushed out, and a hot wave of terror suddenly radiated out. The crime guard was hit by such a blow, and a mouthful of blood spurted out, and in the blood, it turned out to be a rare black color. Until this time, the face of the Sin guard turned completely gloomy, because he knows that there seems to be some mysterious power in this formation that suppresses him. If he doesn't escape from here, then he is very likely to fall completely. This formation is called Molten Purgatory, which Xiao Yang realized by himself. The place surrounded by the formation is a world of red flames and molten lava. It is filled with the purifying power of holy flames. At this time, on the altar wrapped by the formation, it has turned into a red lava world, but this is only the first step of lava purgatory. According to Xiao Yang's guess, if you want to completely perfect this lava purgatory, I am afraid this flame will turn blue-yellow, and at that time, I am afraid that it is not difficult to trap some ordinary 1-star 2-star fighting immortals just by this formation. But obviously, at this time, the 27,000 array patterns are not enough to display the full power of the lava purgatory, but with the help of the semi-finished product at this time, it is enough to deal with the injured guard. As the master of the formation, Xiao Yang is naturally quite easy to control the molten formation. The enemy is the sinner, and the formation is repelled by the formation. Shui Yu and the others are friends, so the formation is not right. It's threatening. Little bastard, what the is this molten slurry? The criminal guard just spewed out a mouthful of blood, and his aura was weakened, and he could vaguely feel that his strength had suddenly dropped to the early stage of the 2-star Dozian, and he had not even stopped the sign, and then stared at Xiao Yang with gloomy eyes. Aren't you looking for something in this molten slurry? Xiao Yang sneered, his voice echoing in all directions in the formation. It can be said without hesitation that this formation has been completely stabilized by Xiao Yang's 27,000 core formation patterns. Unless the criminal guard regains his peak strength, he will not be able to escape. Although Xiao Yang's strength is weak, but with the blessing of the formation and holy flame, it is not difficult to obliterate this sinner with evil power. After all, the power of holy flame is the biggest nemesis of its evil power. 10,000 fires, who will compete with each other? A majestic voice sounded slowly, and a burst of red lava suddenly gathered around Xiao Yang and flowed slowly around him. In the lava, not only Xiao Yang's battle immortal power, and even has some other powers. This guy's formation is so strong, I'm afraid it's not a finished product. As a human with a high status in the Holy See, Liu Qing naturally saw some hidden things in the red lava around Xiao Yang at a glance. The red lava actually gave Liu Qing an inexplicable pressure. You must know that Liu Qing has a light element, plus he has a lot of knowledge, and this feeling is only at the core of the Holy See. Encountered. However, the most central place of their Holy See, the thing stored is a holy flame. Even Liu Qing's background and strength have only been touched once, but the fluctuation above the holy flame can't be faked. It was a rather strange power, and that power was a deadly threat to the criminal guards. You shouldn't be contaminated with the aura of a foreign evil clan, otherwise, the 2-star fighting immortal is still irresistible to me, but it's a pity. Since it has become a moth that endangers the world, then it should disappear completely from this moment. Xiao Yang's voice was like a Sanskrit, and it was slowly passed through the lava purgatory. The fiery red lava spread out from around him in a strange wave like a water wave. Not good. And when the weak guard saw Xiao Yang's body red lava spread in a strange wave, a touch of fear from the depths of his soul swept his body. This is... Yu Xiaoye and Shui Yu on the side looked at the sky. They were like flame kings, their gestures were filled with the power of destroying the sky and the earth, and they couldn't help whispering. On this sky, there are definitely fluctuations of holy flames. At this moment, seeing only a trace of khaki flames emerging from the fiery red lava on Xiao Yang's body, Liu Qing's lips showed a seductive smile. Liu Qing's status in the Holy See can be said to be extremely high. This time, he left the Holy See to experience and collect holy flames. After all, when Liu Qing left the Holy See, There was a powerful prophecy in their holy see that the Second World War was coming, and Shenyang was the biggest nemesis of the aliens, so the task of collecting Shenyang to fight against the aliens, and handed it over to Liu Qing. In the first battle of heaven and earth, the 36 holy flames made huge sacrifices for the entire world, and even more holy flames did their best. Although they finally won, many holy flames were falling into reincarnation, waiting for the call of the destined person. Boom boom boom. Under the gazes of everyone, the red molten slurry instantly turned into a khaki flame behemoth with a ferocious mouth. RRR. The crime guard was seriously injured by Liu Qingguang's doqi and weakened. At this time, when Xiao Yang used the power of holy flame, he was instantly drowned in khaki flames. The khaki flame is Huixin Tianyang. Although the ranking is not high, it is naturally easy to kill a sin guard who is seriously injured. Who? After the criminal guard was wiped out, the formation was instantly removed by Xiao Yang, and Xiao Yang's figure collapsed in an instant. Soul power, spiritual power, and the power of holy flame are used together, and it really consumes a lot of money. Xiao Yang sat on the altar, slowly running Fen Ju to absorb the fighting energy of heaven and earth to replenish himself. Xiao Yang was promoted too quickly because of the holy flame, and this kind of overloaded battle can make Xiao Yang adapt as soon as. After this battle, Xiao Yang vaguely felt that his strength seemed to have reached the peak of the early stage of one-star Dozian, and stepping into the middle stage of one-star Dozian was also a matter of course. And once you step into the middle or late stage of the one-star fighting immortal, you can use the power of the fighting spirit to successfully break through the one-star fighting immortal and step into the two-star fighting immortal. What happened? Both of the two sinners have fallen? Not even a trace of soul power? But the sinner who had just exited the underground passage was shocked, and a bad premonition slowly emerged. To be able to obliterate the late one-star Dozian and the late two-star Dozian 2 criminal guards at the same time, that guy's strength cannot be underestimated. Captain, what's the matter? In the distance, Yu Yifeng, who was rushing towards Shiwu village, looked at the motionless Yu Yifeng and said, according to the situation in the past, this Shiwu village should have been full of cooking smoke, and it was very lively, but it was very quiet at this time, so let's speed up. After Yu Yifeng finished speaking, the speed skyrocketed and followed. If something happened to Xiao Yang and the others, I'm afraid he won't be able to eat his legacy, not for anything else, just because there is his third brother's daughter, Yu Xiaoye, and the Supreme Vatican Liu Qing. Liu Qing's specific identity, Jade Legacy, is unknown, but it can be said that his status can be said to be indescribable for the supreme leader of the Holy See to speak. Strange, this Shiwu village was not crowded in the past, how could it be empty today? The 4 Yu Yifeng had just arrived at the edge of Shiwu village, and the village chief of the deserted village said, the relationship between Desolate Village and Shiwu Village is good, so according to the old village chief's understanding, it is natural to easily detect that something is wrong here. I'm afraid something happened here, and I always feel that there is some danger ahead, old village chief, let's part ways here. This is a little thought. After Yu Yifeng finished speaking, a money bag flashed out, threw it towards the old village chief, and then walked away towards the altar without looking back. I don't know why, Yu Yifeng always has a feeling of trepidation. Captain. Seeing Yu Yifeng's appearance like this, the other 2 powerhouses in the team couldn't help but ask. Let's go. Yu Yifeng's face was gloomy, he let out a loud snort, and then accelerated his speed towards the center of the village. After all, the area of Shiwu village is quite large. If you want to enter the center of the altar from the outside, there is still some distance. On the other hand, in the center of the altar, after eradicating the guilty guards of the late two-star Dozian, Xiao Yang stood quietly and recovered his breath. Using the power of mental power, soul power, and fighting qi at the same time really made Xiao Yang a little overwhelmed, but fortunately, it was Xiao Yang's Fen Ju that had recovered nearly 80% of his power in just a few minutes. It made Xiao Yang also curious about Fen Ju. Little brother Xiao Yang, are you alright? Shui Yu, who was in charge of guarding while watching Xiao Yang open his eyes, asked with a hurried smile. It's fine. Xiao Yang got up gently, then smiled. I have already sent a signal to the captain, and the captain is coming here. Shui Yu said. As for Liu Qing on the side, her eyes were green, as if she was thinking about something, and Yu Xiaoye was also staring at Xiao Yang with changing eyes. It's a pity that this late Xing Dozian and the late two-star Dozian criminal guard. The Lord of Soul Eater in the body expressed a slight regret. The Lord of Soul Eater was originally a strong man with the power of devouring. Soul Eater Talisman, a ghost soldier, can naturally be fearless, so as to recover his own power by devouring the power of others. However, Xiao Yang is also a little puzzled. It seems that this soul eater can devour anyone and turn it into his own power, and even if he devours the evil tribe outside the territory, it will not be polluted by the power of the evil tribe outside the territory. This makes Xiao Yang couldn't help but look forward to the strength of the soul eater. What a light system! What a holy flame! While Xiao Yang was talking with everyone, he was located less than 10 meters away from the altar, and suddenly started to wriggle slightly, and then a ghostly body slowly emerged. The space wriggled slightly, and then calmed down again. Even Xiao Yang didn't notice the change. Humph! The 2 criminal guards who killed my sin, you guys, you can only repay with death. A powerhouse in the middle stage of the 3-star Do Emperor and some small shrimps are coming from a distance. Let's just catch you all. The evil sinner was quite confident, and after muttering to himself, he immediately melted into the air. Wait quietly. Xiao Yang. Little Yi, are you all right? After a while, Yu Feng came to the altar first, and immediately saw that the 4 people in the altar were intact, and immediately said with joy, "Second uncle. You Xiaoye just saw Yu Feng, and she burst into tears. Obviously, if Xiao Yang hadn't saved her just now, I'm afraid her life would be. It's all over." Yu Feng could naturally guess why Yui was like this, so he comforted him immediately. "Second uncle, this time we were attacked, it was Xiao Yang who saved me. If it wasn't for him, I'd be afraid." Yui Ini bit his teeth lightly, looked at Xiao Yang and said, "The one who attacked you is." The land monkey on the side couldn't help but said, "A late-stage 1-star Dozian guard, and a late-stage 2-star Dozian." Shui Yu in the distance walked up slowly. Apparently, as the only 2-star Dozian among the 4, he finally defeated the crime guard was seriously injured by Liu Qingguang, so he was obliterated by Xiao Yang's formation and thunder methods. What? Guilty guards in the late 2-star fighting immortals? Yu Feng couldn't help frowning when he heard the words. Naturally, there is no problem in the late-stage 1-star Dozian guard. As for the late 2-star Dozian powerhouse, they were also successfully killed with the help of Liu Qing and Xiao Yang. "But we feel that there are still their men here," Shui Yu said. "It turns out that it was you who killed my subordinates." As soon as Shui's voice fell, the entire space was suddenly filled with a rather cold evil aura. This breath is like ice that has not melted for thousands of years, it is extremely piercing, and it is also filled with quite evil power. "Good guy." Feeling this tyrannical aura, both Xiao Yang and Liu Qing's faces turned gloomy instantly. With Xiao Yang's holy flame and because Liu Qing was born into the light element, it was natural that I felt the horror of this guy for the first time. The strength of this guy is much stronger than the combined strength of the first 2 sinners. "Captain." Seeing that the space is full of ice silk flying, but the evil figure is moving at a high speed like a ghost, so that everyone can't catch the specific location, and then the land monkey said, "This guy is very tilde and just a face-to-face." Jade Legacy gave an evaluation. "Shui Yu, land monkey, protect them. Thunder Snake, I will feign attack, and you will be in charge of the main attack." The next moment, Jade Legacy's fearless aura appeared, and a Bodhidharma order was issued slowly. Yu Feng's voice just fell, and suddenly the pure blue water-type fighting spirit and yellow earth-type fighting spirit on Shui Yu and the earth monkey flashed out at the same time, and then surrounded the crowd into a light curtain that was several dozen meters long. Formation, protect everyone. As for Jade Legacy, there were hurricanes emerging around him, and then his eyes kept moving, apparently capturing the location of the evil aura. "Captain, this guy is moving too fast, I can't hit him." On the side of the thunder snake, the crackling silver thunder slowly flowed, and above the silver thunder, there was the power of the ultimate yang to destroy everything. A late-stage 2-star Dozian, plus a middle-stage 3-star Dozian, just want to kill me? It's too ignorant to take my ice sinner seriously. As the voice fell, the temperature in the entire space suddenly dropped, and in a certain void, it came out slowly. A figure. This figure is also wearing a black robe, with the red word of sin engraved on the back, but this guy is different from the previous 2 guys, because this guy wears a mask on his face. There is no decoration on the mask, some are just a touch of dark red aura lingered, but that dark red aura shocked everyone. This video will end here.